especially since I'm tardy, I saw everyone looking snazzy and ran to get my $2 tie from Vietnam out of my suitcase. Wow. Wow. Here we are. And I think we all remember crowding the aft decks 109 days ago, roiling with excitement and nervousness as we saw Halifax collapse into a little green line on the horizon and then disappear. In less than 24 hours, we'll see North American soil again, and maybe even set foot on it during that time frame, depending on which sea you're in. This is serious. This is a big deal. This whole journey is a big deal, but it doesn't always feel like a big deal, and I was really worried about that. But now I think it's okay, because I remember suddenly how big everything seemed before I came on this voyage, how big the world looked, how insurmountable language barriers appeared, and I was seized with an intense panic. And now, if you dropped one of us in Togo with nothing but a sandwich and a green sheet, no big deal, you know? And that's a big deal. That's how far we've come. We're world travelers now. We've got experience and we've got perspective. I saw a world map in Japan, and the first thing I thought was, I know those continents. I know people there. And the second thing I thought was, wait, those don't belong over there, because sure enough, the Americas were on the right, and Europe and Africa and Asia, Oceania were on the left. And Japan, of course, was in the center. I'd grown up with the map, you know, and its division of the world into East and West, but those divisions don't exist on the round Earth. They exist from our American perspective. And in the reports for Vietnam, I was surprised to hear people allude to the American War. The most surprising thing was how surprised I was. If you'd asked me, how do you think the Vietnamese refer to the war we call the American War, the Vietnam War, I probably could have guessed the right answer, but I never thought to ask the question. Japan, Vietnam, the US, every country sees itself as the center of the world, but not every person needs to do that. And we can start by recognizing where we come from and how that's shaped our perspective. And on this trip, we've done that. It's been a voyage of discovery, but also a voyage of decentering, if that's a word. I didn't fully realize I was American until I saw the world. What is America like? What are Americans like? People ask me this everywhere, and I didn't have a good answer, but I think we're all starting to learn the right questions. If you ask me today, what are people like in America, I'd probably start by saying, most people in America don't have goats. And here's the crazy thing. If you asked me 4 months ago whether most Americans have goats, I'd have said no, but I wouldn't even have known that was a question worth asking before I had seen India or Ghana. And so, in addition to perspectives and questions, we've acquired a lot of photographs. But to be honest, some of them might as well have been downloaded from Google. Photos can't really capture the experience of being somewhere. And they say that a picture's worth 1,000 words, but we in this room all know that a smell is worth 1,000 pictures. So I'm going to talk for a minute about smell. Smell. When you see the Taj Mahal, light bounces off of it or is emitted by the pixels representing it on your computer screen, and they travel across a distance and they hit your retina, which we hope is attached securely to the rest of your body. And then you've seen the Taj Mahal. As important and powerful as it may be, our vision is reflected and detached, like our understanding of anywhere we have not actually been. Not so with smell. To smell something, little molecules waft off the object and go into your nose. They physically come into your breath, your body, your brain, and that's a terrifying thought when you're hovering above a squat toilet. But it's sort of beautiful because it means that the sharp smell of spices in Marrakesh are all inside you now. Little pieces of those things are in you, and that's the ultimate souvenir. And that's not all. Over the last few years, I've witnessed my grandmother sink into senility, losing the names of and faces of family members until there's nothing left but the songs of her childhood remaining. And we've all forgotten things that we thought were unforgettable, like the answer to number 37 on the Global Studies exam, and the precise taste of our first kiss, the color of the curtains in our childhood home, and we may even forget this. But it takes only the briefest whiff of the Febreze that Mama used to use for it all to come rushing back. The deep sea blue of those curtains as sunlight shafts through onto the wall next to the couch where Grandma sits and reads a story she's read so many times she has it memorized. Once you smell the world, you can never truly forget. And we all have smelled the world. We've smelled the castles and cobblestones of Spain and the manic Medinas of Morocco. We've smelled the vivacious villages of Ghana and the curious contrasts of South Africa. We've smelled the beautiful beaches of Mauritius and the overwhelming intensity of India. We've smelled the cultured clean of Singapore and the bustling bikes of Vietnam. We've smelled the Szechuan spice of China and the surging silence of Japan. We've experienced mountain climbs and rickshaw rides past Ghana's columns of kids brightly beaming like a Colgate commercial casting call. The faces of the children from each and every nation with colors and characters that defy classification, an awesomeness indescribable by alliterative articulation. And if I were Tony Keith, I would continue in this cadence, but I may tell a little joke, knock, knock. I'll just tell a little joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The world asking,
The world asking who?
the world asking, who are you, where are you, come visit me, and we did, and it was awesome, knock, knock.
Who's there?
The world asking,
The world asking who?
the world asking, who are you, where are you, come help me, and we've gotta, and I think we will, because I know we have. We've donated time and money and shoes. We've installed water filtration systems. We've offered children One World soccer balls. And Rocky has really inspired me throughout this voyage about helping both people and planet. This is the old ecology truism, take only pictures, leave only footprints. And we've left footprints, but they're not only footprints. We talk about the developing world, but as we've seen, the whole world is developing, so the culture and structure of each country is like wet concrete. And the footsteps we leave will remain distinct in that solidifying soil. Our individual prints distinguishable even as green shoots emerge from the cracks, from the seeds that we've planted, and as roots moving underground change the contours of the surface. Our footprints will remain on that sidewalk, and little pieces of concrete will remain between our toes with the dust of Morocco and the mud of the Mekong and the black sand of Hawaii. That's part of us now. So even as we fall back into old habits, knock, knock, even as we check our voicemails, knock, knock, even as we part ways and grow old and change plans and forget, knock, knock, let us go out, voyagers of fall 2010, and especially graduates. Let's see the loved ones we've missed, and let's see the places we have not yet seen. Let's hear the beauty of the laughter of friends and foreigners. Let's hear Coop's echoes of distant horns in India. Let's hear the knock, knock, knocking of the world. And most of all, let's smell.